Hello and welcome to English 204 Introduction to Professional Writing. I'm Dr. Tirrell and I'll be your instructor this semester. The purpose of this video is to give you an introduction to the course website, which contains information about course policies, assignments, and due dates. This is a hybrid section of 204, which means that ordinarily we will have one course meeting per week in our classroom, and for us that'll occur on Tuesdays from 3:30 to 4:45 in Morton Hall, room 204. And we'll also have one course meeting on Thursdays that takes place online, encompassing tasks you'll accomplish independently or rarely synchronous interactions. Because of this, the course website is absolutely crucial, so after watching this video, make sure to familiarize yourself with it thoroughly. The URL for the course website appears on this slide, and it's in the information below this video on YouTube. You also should have received an email from me with the link. So it's important to note that this course only uses Blackboard to distribute grades. Other course content won't appear there, right? This is the course homepage. Blackboard we only use to post grades. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. So this is the course homepage. You can see some consistent features on every page, like the search box. Over here, there's a sidebar with information about when and where the course meets. And then instructor information with my contact info, my office, office hours, which are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12:30 to 1:30, and also Wednesdays from 2 to 3. And then if that doesn't work for you, you can schedule an individual appointment either in person or we can do video chat. You can also contact me by emails. There's lots of ways to get a hold of me. You'll also notice these navigation tabs up here at the top. We probably will add one more tab later in the semester, but right now you can see the sections: home, syllabus, assignments, calendar, and grades. This home page, this collects news updates that you should know. Right now there's just the welcome message. There'll only be a handful of these probably during the semester, but any new information in terms of changes or that sort of thing, that'll be posted here. The syllabus, we're not going to read through this thoroughly right now, but you should do that independently. You can see it's got the usual policies in terms of things like tech expectations, collaborative work, the grading policies, that sort of thing. You'll notice on the grading policy, we use points in here, so there's 400 points total. We have 3 main projects, each of which is 100 points. And then the other 100 points comes from ancillary material that we'll look at here in a bit. We do use the plus minus in this course. I don't use that to punish people. It's, I'm always, looking to round things upward. I use it because grades are a very coarse metric anyway. Plus minus just helps make it a little more fine-grained because there's a lot of difference between, a grade, someone who got a plus and someone who got a minus in that grade. That's a big difference, so the grade reflects that. The other main thing to be aware of here is the book. It's The Essentials of Technical Communication, 3rd edition by Thibault and Draga. You can get that from our bookstore, from something like Amazon. You can rent it from Chegg or Vital Source. I don't really care how you get it, but you do need it immediately. We use it, starting from the get-go. So you should have that book right at the beginning. So read through the syllabus. We're going to be actually individually completing a course contract that you'll sign indicating that you understand the policies. So you do want to make sure you're looking at those. The assignments section here. You'll notice this reflects what we just saw in the grade breakdown. We've got 3 main projects. Right now, only one is linked, our first one. I only provide information for what we're doing so that there's no confusion. You can kind of see, looking at this first one, how this breaks down. We're not going to go over this thoroughly right now because we're going to do it in class, but this lets you know sort of what kind of stuff we're going to be producing for this class, right? You can see, for example, our first project, you're going to be individually identifying a real-world corporate crisis that's happened within the last 5 years. You're going to be constructing materials in response to it as though you're a member of that company as the crisis is happening. So you're going to be composing a report for corporate execs. You'll be creating a press release for news media outlets. You'll be composing an internal memo for employees. And you're going to be creating a video message for customers, as well as supporting documents that go along with these. So that's the kind of stuff we're going to be producing. I'm also going to give you a lot of student examples for these things. And as a class, we're going to be using the GM Recall of 2014 as a case study. So we're all going to be looking at that. We're all going to be looking at student models. So you'll have plenty of information about how to do this kind of stuff. Other projects, we've got our instructions project. You will be producing instructional material for processes. And then we'll have a service learning project where the class will be working with a client to produce some form of professional writing, technical or promotional documents or something like that for a client. That'll be a group project, and we'll all be working for the same client. I don't know who it is right now, so I'm not being coy. I don't know who we're going to be working with in this section. The other assignments here, you can see engagement assignments. Those you might think of as sort of like participation assignments. They're ancillary work we need to do for the progress of the course, such as in-class activities, workshop things, short assignments out of class. So for example, turning in your course contract that we just looked at, that's an engagement assignment. Doing the personal introduction post, which we'll see in a second, that's an engagement assignment. Doing a draft, those are engagement assignments, that kind of thing. Then reading quizzes and reading responses. As their names imply, those correspond to chapters in our textbook that I'll assign. So reading quizzes are brief, in-class, multiple-choice exams over assigned chapters. I believe there's 4 of them during the semester, and I believe there are 10 multiple-choice questions each. Reading responses, those are longer explication questions. They're not multiple-choice. They're, short essay prompts, and you do those outside of class. But both reading quizzes and reading responses correspond with chapters that you'll be assigned in our textbook. So our calendar, that is probably the most important page. It's the one you're going to use the most. You'll check the syllabus here at the beginning, and then you'll refer to it, maybe. Assignments you'll probably check occasionally, but the calendar you'll use all the time. And you can see how it's broken down here. This is the entire semester plotted out here at a glance. You can see everything we're going to be doing throughout the entire semester. Not everything is linked right now because I only put the links for the upcoming stuff so that people don't get confused and accidentally complete something that's due much later and overlook something that's due now. But everything is here. As the calendar says, it's subject to change, but it won't change much. Potentially if I'm going to a conference or something and we have to move things around, it may change a little bit. But it's not going to change a whole lot. This is basically it. Gray rows indicate online periods, which are Thursdays, and white rows indicate in-class periods, which are Tuesdays. And you can see how that breaks down here, right? August the 17th, Thursday, it's our first day. It's outside of class, it's online, so it's a gray row. And then you can see August 22nd is an in-class period, it's a Tuesday, and then it alternates, right? Tuesday, Thursday, and so forth and so on. Unless otherwise indicated, agenda items scheduled for online periods, so Thursdays, are due before midnight of the same day. What that means is on Thursdays, our online periods, we don't actually meet electronically. It's not like we all go to, the same website and video conference. We don't do that. We rarely will have we'll have individual video chats between you and me, but that only happens, I believe, twice during the semester. Most online periods, most Thursdays, you just have tasks that you have to complete, right? You can see the agenda here. And you just have to do those before the end of that day. So that's what the midnight of the same day means. It means you've got until, the end of that Thursday in order to complete the items on the agenda for that online period. Let's go ahead and take a look at how this breaks down. This calendar will make sense immediately. Within the first couple of days or, maybe a week or two, it'll make a lot of sense. But because this is a hybrid section and I only see you guys once a week, it takes a little getting used to. But it is important because the number one key to success in this class is stick to the calendar. Look at the calendar. Everything is provided. Everything is linked. If it's not on the calendar, you don't do it. So just look at the calendar, see what's coming up, click the appropriate links, do what you need to, and that's probably the most important thing in terms of your success in a hybrid section like this. So you can see how this works here. Our first day is an online period, a Thursday. It's August the 17th. You can see nothing's due by the beginning of class, of course, since it's the first day. And then our agenda items, and we have agenda items for that online period, are to watch the course introduction video, which you are doing right now because you can hear my voice. So you can check that one off, and then submit the personal introductions post. We'll take a look at that. So you can see it's just a Google form that you fill out, sort of basic stuff about yourself and your expectations for the course. And once you do those two things, you've completed the agenda for that online period. And then for August the 22nd, which is a Tuesday, it's our first in-class period. You need to print out the course contract and sign it and bring it in. That's what due at 3:30 means, bring it into class. You need to read the first chapter in our textbook, and you need to read the corporate communication project information that's linked there. The agenda for that day, the 22nd, Tuesday, we're going to introduce the course and discuss professional writing as a subject. Part of the introduction post here asks about your thoughts on professional writing. The interesting thing about professional writing is no matter what field you're in, and in this course we get people from a range of different disciplines, professional writing appears in your discipline. I guarantee it. Professional writing appears in everything. So we'll talk about that. We'll do our first reading quiz, and that's going to be over chapter 1, right? Our first 10-question multiple choice reading quiz. We're going to talk about the corporate communication project, and then we're going to do an in-class activity related to that project, right? So that's what's going to happen. And then the 24th, that's a Thursday. It's an online period. You can see we still have stuff due before 3:30. Even though we don't meet, we do have stuff due at a particular time. And the reason why is because agenda items are going to be predicated on those things you need to have done. So by 3:30, you need to complete the intention document here. And we're going to talk about that in class on the 22nd. And then you need to read chapters 2 and 3 by 3:30. Why? Because what you need to do for the rest of the day before midnight is reading response 1 and 2. And those correspond with chapters 2 and 3. So you have to have that reading done by 3:30 so that you can spend the rest of the day doing those agenda items. Hopefully that makes sense. We have stuff due at the beginning of class, 3:30, on both in-class periods and out-of-class periods because you're going to need that stuff in order to do the daily agenda stuff. Okay? As I say, this will make total sense once we start. The first couple of meetings is going to make total sense. For right now, you may have some questions about it, but you'll get into the swing of it right at the beginning, I promise. I did want to briefly take a look at this first post here, personal introductions post, to sort of walk you through this. We're going to be seeing a lot of these Google Forms. Probably you've done something like this before. The good news is you can't submit it without completing it, so you don't have to worry about making a mistake. I really encourage people to, instead of typing directly into this, your name, that's fine. But something that's asking for sentences, I really suggest that you compose in another program and, save as you go. And then whenever you're ready, just copy and paste it over. The reason why is, what happens if your computer, the power goes out, as it does, at least once every semester here on campus. The power blitzes and you lose everything. Or you click submit and it just shows you a blank page and you don't know if it went through or not, right? There's just too many little quirks that could happen. So compose in a separate program, save as you go, preferably to a networked drive. I think you guys have Timmy, right? Or no, you guys have Sammy, right? Yeah, you guys have Timmy. I'm sorry. Mine's different. So you have a networked drive. You can use a USB flash drive, whatever. It's just that computer problems, as it says in the syllabus, are not an excuse. That's like the dog ate my homework. It's just not an excuse anymore. We're all completely entangled with computers. We need to know how to use them, right? Sorry. So composing a separate program, make sure to save as you go, have a backup, and then just copy and paste it over, excuse me, whenever you're ready to submit. Okay? Once you do submit, it's going to let you know it went through, right? Your response has been recorded. Some of them you'll be able to edit if you want, but not all of them. So don't count on that. Excuse me. So that's how those posts work. One of the reasons why I'm asking you to do this is so that I know everyone is comfortable using Google Forms, because we'll see them quite a bit. This also is an engagement assignment. If you'll remember from the syllabus, we have 30 points collectively. So doing that personal introduction post, that's a point or two. I can't remember off the top of my head. That's kind of what this is like. Okay, so that's how the calendar works. Grades, when you click there, it just takes you to Blackboard. When you sign in, it'll take you directly to this course's Blackboard page. But remember that all it's got on there is grades. Right now, there's a notice directing you to this page. That notice will go away after a couple of weeks. When you click the grades tab, it's just going to take you to Blackboard, and then that's just going to go straight to grades. It's the only thing that's on there will be your grades. There's nothing else to confuse you. It's just grades. And that gives us, personal, private access to our scores. That's why we use Blackboard. So that's the gist of it. As I said, we'll probably have at least, although probably just one, additional tab up here. But we'll talk about that later in the semester. The calendar here, this is the most important thing. You're going to use it all the time. Because it's a hybrid, the onus is on you to sort of keep up with it. Just stick to the calendar. Everything's going to be linked. You just have to go through it day by day. Keep an eye on the horizon here about what's coming, and then just go through it. The assignments here, these will be progressively linked as we start doing these projects later in the semester. Do read through the syllabus. I don't think there's any curveballs in there, but you do want to make sure you know everything about, group work and grading and that kind of stuff. And then the homepage where we'll get any updates. That's the gist of the site. Again, welcome to the course. I'm excited because the rhetorical principles you learn here are going to help advance you no matter what. As I say, we get a rich mix of different disciplines in this 204 course, which I've taught a million times. No matter who you are, what you're studying, what you're going to do in the future, professional writing will have relevance to you. I promise. I've never encountered a student for whom professional writing won't have some relevance to your life going forward. As I mentioned, this is a hybrid section, so that's the only kind of curve. People sort of ask me about that. I've never done a hybrid before, or what's sort of my advice about how to succeed. It is true that the onus is on you to be more personally invested in the class and to take responsibility for your own success, because I don't see you guys that much. As I say, the calendar, stick to that, particularly because we don't see each other very often. Otherwise, I don't think there's anything in the course, given it or due to its hybrid nature, that's going to be undoable for you. You just have to stay on top of things, right? And so the other piece of advice is contact me, right? Don't feel embarrassed or ashamed or like you're bothering me when you ask me questions. Ask me questions. This is my job. That's what I do here. Pro tip: most of your professors are thrilled with student questions. I mean, this is what we're here for. Coming to office hours, I'm thrilled. I don't even know what to do with myself when someone shows up for office hours. So ask questions. Keep in contact with your professors. If my office hours don't work, use email, or we can schedule a different appointment, or we can do video chat, right? You are going to be doing some things independently, kind of off on your own because it's a hybrid, but always contact me if you have questions. That's it. Welcome. I hope you find the course challenging and rewarding. I'm looking forward to the semester. I will see you on the 22nd. If you have any questions before then, get in contact with me. All right. See ya.